my name's Oliver Mochizuki. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Fundsurfer.com. We're a hybrid crowdfunding and commercial finance platform. We offer access to a wide range of funding options, and we combine those funding options with a unique blend of support. So I've got on the schedule, it just says alternative finance, which is incredibly open. So what I thought I would do is just fire through some of the different funding options that are available within finance. But I also wanted just to get a quick idea, first of all, how many people are in here going to be looking to raise funds in the next 12 months? Okay, put your hands up if you understand alternative finance and you really feel you've got a solid grasp on every funding option available. Yeah, it's a shifting landscape, it has to be said. Things are moving very quickly. The entire funding landscape is changing. The way that you fund a project or company is changing. We're a little bit different at Fundsurfer to other platforms in that we curate projects. So we turn away a lot of projects that come to us, mainly because we can see very clearly now, having worked with a couple of hundred clients, what will work, what won't. So we're very, if we believe in a project or company and we feel, yeah, we can definitely support you, then we will take them on as a client. It's a little bit different to other crowdfunding platforms, but again, we're crowdfunding and commercial finance. So we're hybrid, so it's debt, equity, startup loans, pension-led funding, invoice trading. Essentially the way that we operate is wherever you are in your funding cycle, we can support you. If you have an amazing project or company. So we combine all of our funding options with the support. So the support could be, I hope no one has projections that look like hockey sticks, but if you do, then we can send you a way to get your numbers in the right place. One of the most difficult problems that we have for our clients is being ready for investment. We have over 125 different funding partners and lending partners, and for them, what they want to see is a steady stream of pre-qualified deals. They need to see deals that meet their criteria and that essentially aren't nonsense or madness. And I'm a serial entrepreneur, I have been there, I have pitched ideas that were nonsense and were madness. I have lost phenomenal amounts of money, I have gone down in flames, but I have also succeeded. So I understand exactly what it's like to be on the other side of things. So I'm also a film producer. I work in film finance. That's why I created Fundsurfer. We raised, I think it was £2,000 in 3 days for our short film while we were at film school. And it was a little, light bulb, ping, went on. I realized this was something that was going to be very, very serious. I think this was 2011 maybe, 2010, 2011, when Kickstarter was starting to, get a little bit of momentum. But I could see very clearly that this was going to be a game changer. It was going to change the way that funding is delivered. So we created Fundsurfer, and initially we were just providing crowdfunding. At the time it was just Kickstarter, so I chose the Kickstarter model and we went with it. And then through being in the trenches and speaking to hundreds of clients, we realized, this guy needs equity. This guy needs commercial finance. This guy doesn't need crowdfunding, he needs a startup loan. Or he perhaps needs some seed finance. So we provide a really nice range of funding options. So now I wanted just to really open up to the rest of the team. I'm going to go through some of the different options, but I will have some time for questions. So if anyone has a specific funding question, happy to answer that. So looking at crowdfunding, there are now a number of different crowdfunding options. You have equity crowdfunding, reward and donation-based crowdfunding, and crowdfunded loans, which are loans from Funding Circle, who were actually our very first partner. We now have, I think it's over, nearly 125 personally and over 300 ourselves. But funding is the #1 most difficult problem that you're going to face. The second biggest problem is actually being ready for funding. So equity crowdfunding is when you're looking to sell shares in your company. It's your Dragon's Den style 10% for 150,000 or what have you. I run through a platform. How many people here have actually run an equity crowdfunding campaign? Wow, it's a straight 0. One at the back. Okay, so we've had one successful equity crowdfund. Who's actually crowdfunded for something with reward and donation based? That great. Can I just ask, was it successful or a failure? Sorry, putting you on the spot there, isn't it? A little.
Successful.
Successful. Can you tell me how much you raised?
£90,000.
£90,000. And would you agree with the essential truth that crowdfunding isn't magic, it's not a silver bullet, and it requires an enormous amount of work, or a considerable amount of work?
Sure.
That's about the right, yeah. It's a little bit tricky because we have people come to us and they say, okay, we've got this amazing idea. We're just going to put it up on the crowdfunding platform, and then we're going to sit back, we're just going to relax, and we're going to wait, and all of the pledges are going to come flooding in. That doesn't happen, right? In any way, shape, or form. What people don't realise is you actually have to do a considerable amount of work. It's really, tough to actually get into it. Of equity crowdfunding, you have to have the three following things. You have to have a deck. You have to have at least a half-decent investment proposal and some investment projections. So it's no different to, pitching people in person. You still need to have all of these things. And then if you move from crowdfunding into equity and debt, we do work offline for our clients. We're very involved with venture capitalists, private equity, and family offices. But this is fintech for good, right? This is, what we're here to talk about. And for me, I've run charities, I've run not-for-profits. I've been, on the other side of things, crying at 6 a.m. because I'm filling out an application. I realise single tear rolls down my face. This is never going to work out. This application isn't going to go anywhere. So I do know how tough it is, and that's why Fundsurfer, we want to be different. We want to position ourselves in a way that we can open up funding to everyone, wherever you are and whatever you're doing and whatever you need to do. So we offer, as I said, access to a wide range of funding options. So I'd just like to open up to everyone for the final sort of 5-10 minutes, because I've got to pace it through this. Any funding questions that you may have?
I've got a question. Right. So what's contributed to the success of crowdfunding as a vehicle for raising capital?
Well,
why is crowdfunding happening?
Reward and donation-based crowdfunding is, for me, this is where it's really excelled. It has created a funding escalator that reaches all the way down to the ground floor. So anyone with an idea anywhere in the world can crowdfund for no fee, no cost. All governments have failed to do that. They've all tried, but they've failed. So for me, it's an enormous driver. And this is a big thing. Reward and donation-based crowdfunding is actually a bigger driver for job creation and for growth than equity-based crowdfunding. 80% of all companies that crowdfund all go on to look at private equity and venture capital. So for us, our gamble that once they've crowdfunded, they would look at equity is absolutely paying off. So we're working on the long term with our clients. So yeah, it's that for me. It's building that escalator to the ground floor.
I've seen a lot of crowdfunding websites where somebody wants some money, they'll put the idea, a lot of people will say 10%, but not really seeing face to face the person who wants the money. So do you have any sort of bespoke arrangement where I know a lot of people, including myself, where we can invest some money or enough money for a startup, but we are not serious entrepreneurs or investors. But is there such arrangement where if I come to you and say I can put X amount of money personally to you, can you find something, or if you find something with these parameters, can I have a first-phase meeting with someone?
Absolutely, yeah. So the way that we work is that we look to match clients with investors when suitable. So that could be a consortium of angel investors. It's all about us defining for you where they are. So if they need 100,000 and we've got them pre-approved for SEIS, so we can offer the 50% and the capital gains free, etc. Then we would say, okay, this fits with this group of investors. We then have specific funders that are looking only for clients that want to raise Series A, or raise 10 million, or 50 million. So we match our clients with our specific investors and our funders as per their criteria. So with all of our funds, we agree that beforehand.
A little bit confused. So, is it crowdfunding for sort of like a seed investment with a limit? Is it a hybrid, or it sounds like you're running syndicates?
Yeah, so we're a hybrid crowdfunding platform. So it's crowdfunding and commercial finance. So within commercial finance, I would include everything from debt equity, to a loan, to a crowdfunding loan, whatever it may be. So we are very different to other platforms. We're not just offering a crowdfunding solution. We're doing a lot of offline pitching. So, for example, I'll take one of our best partners, Syndicate Room. So we go to Syndicate Room. I love their model. I love it's investor-led. They're very focused on very quality investors on the platform. We can only take to them clients that have 25% of their investment in place, preferably from a named institutional fund, at which point they will then feature the project on Syndicate Room, raise the money they need, etc., and expose them to all of their contacts and their investors. So I think, yeah, you're right. We are syndicating to a certain extent and connecting groups of investors to our clients. We have over. It's a bit tricky because we are still a startup. Fundsurfer is a startup, so you can't see on Fundsurfer right now the 200 clients we're working for on equity, for example. So we're still working that out.
But you do the whole round, right? So are you saying someone goes and they've gone, I've got a term sheet, I've signed, 25% over here. Can you guys solve my 75% problem?
Correct. Yeah. Or we can do the start. So if you come to us and say, I want my first 25%, I want to get my seed finance, we can take care of that. So the way that we're focusing is that funding cycle. If you're year 1 or year 2, it's very clear. I can only help you with crowdfunding, or I can send you to a startup loan company, which we're partnered with. It's a government loan fixed at 6%. Or I can send you to our 10% of our investors that are interested in seed. They're interested in pre-revenue, early doors. I mean, 90% of our investors aren't. But 10% are, so again, it's about matching that. Sorry, does that answer your question, Matt, fully? Wicked, thanks. Yes, we wrap it?
Pick it up, yeah,
for sure, yeah. Thank you so much, everyone. One last question. This guy in front.
How are you regulated?
Yeah, so Fundsurfer isn't authorized and regulated by the FCA, so this is really important. We have to be very, very careful. So we operate under the FCA's introducer exemption. So all we can do is take a limited company or an LLP, and we can take them to another limited company or an LLP for investment or for funding. If I was to take someone's deck or their investment proposal and go, ooh, June, year 2, you're going to have to fix that, that's bad, I'm arranging investment, and I'm instantly in breach of FCA guidelines. But this year is the year that we're actually going forward with one of our partners for full FCA approval and authorization, so we can actually start doing equity crowdfunding on our platform. And the beautiful thing for us is it's the client that's going to pay for all of that because they want to just move forward with it. Cool. Thank you very much, everyone. Come and find me later. Cheers.